These loose rocks look like they might be passable. If only I had a tool to drill through them. So, this is why we stopped. A lava river. Plan B then, I guess. We'll need to figure out if there's a way around. Wonder how many more surprises this planet has in store.
Out of storage space.
So, had enough time to come to terms with the situation?
I'm fine, thanks. There's not much that can bring me down. But I still feel much weaker than usual. Funny, earlier today I tried to lift a container and I couldn't.
I'd blame it on the container. They keep making them heavier, if you ask me.
Yeah, nice tactics, but I'm serious here. Operating the refinery requires stamina. I feel like I'll need to put on at least 15 pounds. Lose the, excess fat here and there.
Being strong seems to matter a lot to you.
A little extra confidence never hurt anyone. Not that it was ever my priority. I just like the physical activity. It helped clear my head of problems.
Your problems are gone here. It's a chance to wipe the slate clean.
Maybe, but I still can't get my head around one thing.
What's that?
Like, if everything that happened to me isn't true, then does that apply to the people I knew too? I mean, do they exist, but in some different version as well?
I have no idea. This quantum mess-up is really confusing for me as well.
Yeah, but theoretically, it's not impossible for someone who, for example, would be dead in my mind to actually still be alive?
Theoretically?
Totally.
It's really hard to say. The variables are almost infinite.
That's overwhelming. Shit. I think I need to get my mind on something else.
Why don't you have some fun? Integrate with the living. You deserve it.
You think?
Sure. Let me know if there's anything more you need.
nutrition of your crew during that time.
So, how are you? Settling in all right? Settling in is overrated. I analyze reality from wherever I am, however uncomfortable the angle. There's always an observation to be made. I'd love to hear what you managed to observe. This place is not run optimally. Yeah, I know. I wasn't trained to command a mission. But now that you're here, with your experience, I'd love to pick your brain. Do you think you could mentor me? Good thinking. First of all, you need to set long-term goals and draw up a roadmap for each of them. Remember to include all unpredictable variables in the equation. That way you can have contingency plans at the ready for each instance. All right, slow down. Prioritize resources. Do not waste time on idle conversations with the crew. Hide the booze. Don't be cheap on coffee. That's slow enough for you? You mean idle conversations like the one we're having now? Like the one you're trying to turn this into? I'm not falling for it. Truth is, I really wish we could make use of the tech I worked on for all these imaginary years. It would make things so much easier if it existed. So what exactly was your research about? Nanotech in space exploration. We went from a humble startup to making headlines in a few months. Taking our solutions to the front line was my dream come true. The data we could bring back. You had big plans for it. Well, now it's all gone. Turning it over in your head won't get you anywhere. You should focus on the work you need to do here and now. I never thought I'd say it, but yes, you're right. Let's get Rapidium back to Earth, and maybe later, we'll see.
I envy you. You believe everything can be fixed as long as everyone has good intentions. Gotta believe in something, right? Otherwise, we'd all go crazy here. Yeah, but your radical friendliness is naive at best and honestly pisses me off. Oh.
Keeping the...
Saber evacuation function. Be then used to produce fuel. If fuel to the Saber evacuation.
You know, sometimes I wish everyone was as easygoing as you.
Looks like I'm done. Should I go there next?
I'm done here. Should I do this now? This is not good. We are surrounded. Damn it. So much for Plan B. What's this? It's triggering the alert in my suit. I need to learn more about this thing. Looks like I'm done. Should I go there next?
lend me your ear? There's something I want to share.
What do we come?
Okay, I went beyond the rocks. It doesn't look good. Lava river is fast as hell. I'll be straight with you. There's no way around it.
Holy shit. What now?
I guess we need to get across somehow. Any ideas up your smart-ass sleeve?
So now I'm smart, huh?
Still, even I might not be enough. But a smarter version of us? Yeah, he could do the trick.
The scientist. He could look for a solution in that research lab you built.
Okay, let's give it a go.
What's up?
I noticed how much time you waste on other people's quarrels.
I wouldn't call that a waste of time.
Well, I just did. Focus on work, please. There's really a lot to do. I found something peculiar on the planet. What exactly was peculiar about it? Everything. It was like a local distortion of reality. And it seemed to be emitting strong radiation. Yes. We could have expected to come across something like that sooner or later, according to reports from previous missions. Unidentified sources of radiation, unexplained electromagnetic field anomalies, distortions of matter, space, or even gravity. What are they? According to a bold theory fleshed out by Professor Frankov, they may be instances of the so-called interval. The what? Interval. In very simple terms, it's a non-coincidental superposition of potential universes. We don't know exactly why it occurs, but observations prove that under certain, not yet specified conditions, two or more parallel landscapes can coexist within a common quantum field, creating a so-called proximity plane. Yeah, it felt like something was materializing from out of nowhere right in front of my eyes. Let's keep our heads cool. It's just a theory, no one's ever proved it right. If, and I stress if, Professor Frankov's intuition is right, then the distortion you have encountered could have been a puncture point, the spot where the proximity plane intersects with our observed universe, subverting its physical balance and distorting the rules of Newtonian mechanics. We need to learn more about these peculiarities. Inform me at once if you come across another one. Keeping busy. Hey there. You wanted to talk about something?
Yeah, I've been thinking about the branching thing. It's so confusing.
Tell me about it.
I mean, remember how I told you about my body? The one I know versus this one? Well, I don't get it. Why is it exactly that we're created with different minds, like, different beverages or snacks, but then we all end up in the same packaging? It doesn't make much sense.
Well, it's not the packaging that matters most. It's the content.
That's what they say. But you don't brew ale only to pour it into plastic bottles. My skills, my whole personality derives from a certain lifestyle. And that makes my mind and body inseparable. That's how it feels to me.
Huh. I never looked at it that way.
I know, and honestly, I find it a little hard to understand. I mean, how can you be so careless about your body? It's the only one you'll ever have, man. Why'd you let it become so neglected?
Guess I just couldn't be bothered to make the effort.
Funny. Now that I look at it, you probably didn't have my motivation.
Which was?
Well, for me, it all started when I moved abroad. After Mom died, I decided to stay there, and for a while it was pretty lonely out there.
Didn't you have friends?
Not at first, no. You can laugh, but I was a little apprehensive to jump into a new environment. It was just work and sleep, some bad eating habits.
So that's when you started working out?
Out of boredom at first. Then, kind of became a fun thing. I made friends, started going out a lot, but by that time, the gym had become an important part of my routine. I drank less, slept better, and it just made me feel in control of my life,
I get you. Now that you told me the whole story.
Thanks. Maybe if I could get back to my routine here, at least in some way, it could really help me shake off all this anxiety. I'd probably sleep better, feel more like me. Do you think there's a chance you could help me get my hands on some exercise equipment here?
I could try.
Really? Thanks, bro. I knew I could confide in you.
functionality.
Hello?
Jan Dolski. Finally. I've been impatient to meet you.
Yeah, sure. You that big fish Lucas was mumbling about?
Terrence Maxwell. But yes, I am both his and your superior at mining operations. First of all, my heartfelt condolences. Losing the whole crew must have been hard on you.
Yeah. I still can't get over it.
Their families have been informed. They're grief-stricken, as you can imagine. But the deaths of their loved ones will go down in history as part of a pioneering discovery. Your discovery.
So, do people know I found rubidium?
We're keeping the news within a very limited circle. It's only wise for the time being.
Limited circle, huh? Bullshit. The public has a right to know about such things.
I like your passion, Jan. You're an honest man. But you're under enough pressure already. We don't need the media to go berserk or the stock market to overreact. We don't need chaos down here while all our efforts should concentrate on supporting you up there. Your task is difficult enough, and failure is not an option.
That's why you had me create my alters? You'd rather let me lose my mind than lose the rubidium?
It was a long shot, I admit. But we were saving both. Rubidium and you, Jan. Do you think it was a mistake?
I think you're bullshitting me. What if I hadn't found rubidium? You'd never go to such lengths to save me, would you?
What if? People like to use that phrase a lot, don't they? Well, you can actually learn the answer to that question. Many would envy you.
Let's just get one thing straight, Maxwell. I know you expect things of me, but I'm no hero.
Ah, heroism. Are you familiar with the works of Albert Camus?
Of course.
Then we will understand each other well. Camus believed heroism was easy, accessible. For him, it was living a normal man's life that was a true challenge. Being decent. Doing the right thing. You are the first person to prove that we can actually excavate rubidium in quantities that can really make a difference. A dream the biggest corporations have been chasing for over a decade now, constantly failing. You say you're not a hero? Well, maybe I don't need you to be one. Maybe you should just carry on being a decent man, Jan Dolski.
Okay, you're buttering me up for something big here. Let's cut to the chase.
Hard-headed. I like that. You've probably noticed how different rubidium looks in reality than on the training materials they showed you.
Why is that?
It changes form constantly. Its chemical structure is so volatile that it is almost impossible to capture two particles in the same state. A fleeting substance. Spectacular. But also very unstable.
How come it works then?
Not enough tests were run to explain that. The only sample ever found in space was researched inside a mobile base like your own, but it never made it back to Earth. It lasted long enough to demonstrate its amazing qualities, only to disintegrate somewhere between the Copernicus and the Hyades cluster.
So, you're afraid the rupidium I found might not withstand the journey?
I know it won't. That's why we came up with a special container for it. An Ark.
You mean like a box?
A hermetic module dedicated specifically to storing and transporting rupidium. We have blueprints for it. Lucas should send the necessary data over to you by the time we finish talking. Constructing a rupidium Ark should be your primary focus now.
Sounds like a big task. I should get to it straight away.
It is a big task, Jan, but it's worth every effort. I hope you realize the gravity of the moment.
I thought you said you didn't want to put pressure on me.
You're right. Lucas said you had questions. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Do you know what happened to my crew?
Lucas showed me the records. I have a theory, but it's more of a hunch. I don't have any hard proof to support it.
What is it?
Well, I think it might have been the quantum processing unit that killed them.
What? But that's... No, that's crazy.
Do you read detective stories, Jan? The culprit always needs to have two things. A motive and a means. Well, it certainly had a means to do it.
But why?
Like I said, it's just a hunch. I'm afraid I won't have much more time for now, Jan. Do you have any other questions?
The branching procedure. There's a story there. Tell me.
It is something that has been tested long ago within Ally Corp, but for completely different reasons and, as you can imagine, in a much more rudimentary fashion.
Altering mind records? For whom?
I'm sorry, Jan. It's highly classified and I already told you too much. I think you deserve answers, but regarding this matter, like I said, things were tested just for a while. Not much came of it. Now, I'd love to keep on chatting, but I really will need to be ending this call soon. Do you have any more questions?
What will happen to my alters when we get back?
I don't know. Yet. I don't need to tell you this is unprecedented. There are no good practices here, but I know one thing. You can trust me and Lucas completely. But if anyone else contacts you, it's absolutely vital you don't tell them anything about the existence of the alters.
What? Why?
You know very well why, Jan. The law has been violated.
I thought Lucas said the branching was authorized.
You haven't been listening. There are no procedures for this sort of situation. There is no one who can officially authorize such an act. At the end of the day, it was your decision to branch yourself. It will be in your best interest to keep that in mind when considering the consequences.
I don't like the sound of this.
We will come back to it later, I'm sure. Right now, I'll have to leave you shortly. Is there anything else?
No. I'm good.
Rupidium Ark, Jan. That's what you should focus on right now. Your secret is safe with me and Lucas. Once you come back with a remedy for Earth's ailments, nobody will think of punishing you for how you got it. Remember, just do the right thing. Now I really have to go. but it was a pleasure talking to you. And we will talk more, I promise. Until then.